It's mise on Seanchaidh, and this is Thistle Stone. Long before the first charter was signed, long before the first Campbell knee bent to a Stuart king, the old ones told of two sons born to the same Gaelic mother on the shores of Loch Awe. One brother walked west into the mist with the salt on his skin and became MacDonald of the Isles. The other knelt east for a charter and took the name O'Divna, the black-haired one who would serve. Two sons of the same fire. One kept it burning, the other learned to carry the crown's torch. Listen, the ash is still falling. Cuimhnich. They did not rise with the salt in their hair and the wind in their sails. They rose with ink on parchment, with a bow at the royal stirrup, and with the slow, patient patience of men who knew the crown would always need someone to do its bleeding for it. And in their shadow, the Highlands bled for 400 years. This is the story of the Campbells. This is their school. Clan Diarmid, children of the crooked mouth, the crown's chosen hammer brought down again and again on the Gaelic world. It's mise on Seanchaidh, and this is Thistle and Stone. Cuimhnich. In the beginning, they were only one clan among many in the misty folds of Argyll. Clan O'Divna, kin to the old ones who carved boars on the stones of Loch Awe side. But where the MacDonalds looked west to the sea and the old ways, the Campbells looked east to the king and the new. While the lords of the Isles crowned themselves barefoot on an ancient stone in the loch, the Campbells took knighthood on their knees in Stirling Hall. Where the MacDonalds ruled by the circle of chiefs and the spoken oath, the Campbells learned that a royal seal weighed more than 100 claymores. Inverary rose stone by stone, a palace where once there had only been black houses and cattle tracks. Every grant of MacDonald land, every sheriffdom, every justiciar's rod placed in Campbell hands was another thread pulled from the old tapestry. To the west they were called na Campbell, the crooked ones, and the name stuck like peat smoke. Harlaw in 1411 was the first open clash. The Campbells rode with the lowland host against Donald of Isla's Highland army, and though the field was red on both sides, the message was clear. The Campbells had chosen their side. When the Lordship of the Isles was murdered by quillstroke in 1493, the Campbells were waiting with open hands. Kintyre, Islay, Jura, Mull, mile after mile of MacDonald country granted for services rendered. Dunveig fell, then Dunstaffnage, then Tarbert. Every charter was written in Edinburgh and sealed with the blood of the old sea kings. The Statutes of Iona in 1609 finished the work. Heirs sent south to forget their mother's milk, bards outlawed, pipes taxed, armed men counted like sheep, and always a Campbell ready to sign the order, to hold the pen, to watch the galleys rot on the shore. In the winter of 1692, the order came from London, signed by a Scottish secretary, carried out by Campbell soldiers billeted under trust. 38 MacDonalds murdered in their beds. 40 women and children dead of cold on the hills. The Crown called it punishment. The Glens called it murder. And the name that once meant kin became a hiss in the wind. When the clearances came, the Campbells were landlords. In Glenorchy and Breadalbin, the 8th Earl had promised his tenants in 1745, "Stay home, keep your roofs." They stayed. After Culloden, the promise was forgotten. In the 1790s and again in the 1840s, the same glens were cleared for sheep by Campbell factors under Campbell orders with Campbell profits. Yet even in the darkest years, the fire was never wholly quenched. There was Donald Campbell of Scalpay, who sheltered Prince Charlie and refused a fortune to betray him. There were Breadalbin men who refused to fire on their own at Culloden. There were Campbells who marched behind the Green Banner in the 1880s for the land. And there are Campbells today who learn the old tongue, who walk to Glencoe on the 13th of February and leave a stone in silence. Today, Inverary gleams white beside Loch Fyne, proud seat of dukes. But on still nights, the wind carries older voices across the water. Voices that remember when Argyll was only one chief among many, not master of all. The victory still tastes of ash, only quieter now and colder. A croft in mid-Argyll that once fed 8 Gaelic souls now sells for $750,000 to a trust that has never heard peat cut or a lament on the wind. The ridge above Loch Awe that once carried the watchfires of Clan O'Divna now wears a blanket of Sitka owned by a pension fund in Copenhagen. This is not a tale of monsters. It is a tale of choices, and of what happens when a Gaelic clan chooses the Crown's road and is rewarded with the power to close the road behind them. It is the mirror the Highlands must sometimes look into, the shadow that shows how thin the line can be between survival and surrender. But the road home is still there. The fire is still burning. And the Highlands are still calling every child of Dermid, every heart that once beat under a Campbell bonnet, the same as under a MacDonald one, back to the same hearth. The wound is open. The silence is not finished. But the soul of the Gael is louder than any charter ever written. Come home, Clan Dermid. Come home to the fire you were born to sit beside. Cuimhnich Ernadini von Dahanigship. Remember the people from whom you came. It's Seanchaidh, and this is Thistle and Stone. Cuimhnich. 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 Falche! Gu! Cuimhnich! The memory lives. Until next time. Cuimhnich!